Scott, over to you.
Pete, thanks. Senator Jeff Flake claiming President Trump has something to worry about in 2020. Take a listen.
I do believe if the president is running for re-election, if he continues on the path that he's on, that's going to leave a huge swath of voters looking for something else. He's probably inviting a Republican challenge as well, but certainly an independent challenge, yes.
But are these never-Trumpers underestimating the president's support? Here to debate is a former advisor for Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign and Fox News contributor, Jimmu Green, and GOP New York City Councilman Joe Borelli. Thank you so much for joining us on this day after Christmas. And Jimmu, I'm going to begin with you. Do you think Jeff Flake is right?
I think certainly given the almost record low approval ratings that President Trump has and what we're seeing as far as the enthusiasm gap that is facing GOP candidates across the board, that it doesn't take rocket science to know that there's going to be an independent challenger and probably one of these never-Trump Republicans challenging him as well. If I were a betting person, I think that person is actually Senator Jeff Flake himself, especially after he talked about in that very rousing speech about the reckless, outrageous, and undignified behavior of this president.
Joe, what say you? Do you see an enthusiasm gap?
Well, I don't think Jeff Flake is retiring due to some higher calling. I think he's stepping down because of some lower polling. You know, he was someone who was not astute enough to see that the Republican brand that Donald Trump is bringing in was going to be the driver in 2016. And the real thing, to Jimmu's point, is back in 2010, Barack Obama was polling around the low 80s amongst Democrats, and people dismissed as ridiculous claims that someone like Hillary Clinton could possibly run against him in his second term. And I think we should be dismissing as equally ridiculous the claims that someone, even a never-Trumper, is going to be running against President Trump. What's the argument coming from a fiscal conservative? We've lowered taxes on the middle class, lowered taxes on corporations, slashed regulations, the economy's doing well. What's the argument for fiscal, economic, social conservatives? We have a conservative Supreme Court now with Justice Gorsuch. We've changed the Obama worldview on Iraq, Syria, North Korea, Israel. There is no opening for a never-Trumper like Jeff Flake or anyone else.
Jimmu, I want to ask you a quick question here. Joe cited statistics on the Obama administration. According to a recent Gallup poll, 82% of the GOP supported the president. So does your theory comport with that?
Look, I think that what we are seeing, certainly if you look at Alabama, the results there, and we started to see that in Virginia, that some of that Trump support that put him into the White House in 2016 is starting to chip away. Let's look at the votes of white women in Alabama, for example, where still the Republican candidate was able to win those votes, but by a much less, drastically much less margin than previous candidates. And so when you start to see that coalition start to crumble, those are concerning signs that I think the president's political advisors are probably paying close attention to. Look, we just had the president not give a final press conference because he was so concerned about the questions he would have to answer around the Russia investigation. That's a troubling sign.
But
for
Jimmu,
any
you heard
president.
a few moments ago, Jimmu, on this very program, I said it's all about the economy, and then said stupid. I don't mean anybody stupid, but that's the famous line. Joe, I leave you the last word. Aren't we going to be in a situation in 2018 where people have gotten these huge bumps in their paychecks since February? They go to the ballot box and they say, my pocketbook is better. I'm going to vote with my pocketbook.
Right. Come February, when these withholding tables are done, every American is going to see an extra $70, $80, $90 in their biweekly paychecks. How are Republicans going to make that case against President Trump? It's laughable. And really, on behalf of Republicans, I want to say to never-Trumpers, just go away. Go away for 2018 and leave it up to people who want to take on the Democrats and want to advance their president's Republican agenda.
Joe, unfortunately, we have to go away right now. Jimmu and Joe, thank you very much. A very, very peaceful debate here on the day after Christmas. Thank you guys very much.